Howie Roseman just pulled off the heist of the century, and the rest of the NFL is officially on notice. If you thought the Philadelphia Eagles were slowing down, you haven't seen what just happened in the 2026 draft, because this class is being hailed as a masterclass in roster building that could haunt the league for a decade. But was this a stroke of genius or a massive gamble that could blow up in their faces? Before we dive into the insanity of these picks, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. The national media is absolutely losing its mind over what Philly just did. We've seen draft grades trickling in, and while most teams are getting participation trophies, the Eagles are getting crowned as the kings of value. It's a familiar story, right? Howie Roseman sees a player sliding, he smells blood in the water, and he strikes. But this year felt different. This year felt personal. Ever since that disaster of a pick with Jalen Reagor years ago, Howie has been on a warpath to prove he is the best talent evaluator in the business. He isn't just hitting singles. He's swinging for the fences and clearing the scoreboard. Let's talk about the pick that has everyone in a frenzy, Makai Lemon. This wasn't just a selection. It was a robbery. Industry experts had Lemon ranked as a top 10, even a top 8 talent in this entire class. So how on earth did he fall to the Eagles at number 20? It's the same magic trick we saw with Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell. When the clock is ticking and teams start overthinking, the Eagles just sit back and wait for the elite talent to drop right into their laps. Makai Lemon isn't just a wide receiver. He is a weapon. We're talking about a guy with a level of dog in him that Philadelphia fans are going to worship. He brings a swagger and a toughness that defines the city. But it's not just about the attitude, it's the tape. Lemon is a yards-after-catch monster. You get the ball in his hands on a simple slant, and he's turning it into a 40-yard gain before the safety can even blink. His spatial awareness is elite. He sees the field like a veteran, finding the soft spots in the zone and exploiting them with surgical precision. But here is the spicy part, the comparisons. Everyone is calling him the next Amon-Ra St. Brown. And no, it's not just because they both wore the USC Trojans jersey. Look at the numbers. They're almost identical in size, right around 5 feet 11 inches and 190-plus pounds. Their arm length, nearly the same. Their speed, both ran in the 4.5 range, but here's the secret. Their game speed is way faster than a track workout. They play with a suddenness that leaves cornerbacks grasping at air. Wait until you hear how Philly actually secured him, because it involved a level of draft day pettiness that is absolutely legendary. Rumor has it the Pittsburgh Steelers were literally on the phone with Lemon, telling him he was their guy at pick 21. Howie Roseman heard the whispers, traded up to 20, and snatched him right out from under their noses. That is the kind of cutthroat management that wins Super Bowls. With A.J. Brown's future always a topic of conversation, securing a future partner for Devonta Smith wasn't just a luxury. It was a necessity. But who is to blame if this offensive focus backfires? Should they have gone heavier on the defensive side of the ball instead? Drop a name in the comments and tell me who you think was the biggest steal of the draft so far. The brilliance didn't stop in the first round. In the second, the Eagles went back to the well and grabbed Eli Stowers. If you want to talk about a one-of-a-one athlete, this is the guy. Stowers is a tight end who is so athletic that some NFL scouts were actually trying to convert him to a full-time wide receiver during the pre-draft process. We're talking about a guy who stands 6 feet 4 inches and weighs 250 pounds, yet he has a vertical jump of over 40 inches and a broad jump that cleared 11 feet. That is not normal. That is a Madden creative player come to life. For years, we've watched Dallas Goedert dominate the seam. But let's be real. He's 31 now. His contract is winding down. The Eagles are playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. By drafting Stowers, they've secured the heir apparent to the tight end throne. Stowers is a seam stretcher who can win 50 to 50 balls in the red zone and make defensive coordinators lose sleep. He's a former award winner for the best tight end in college football, joining the ranks of guys like Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. The pedigree is there, the production is there, and the fit. It's perfect. Imagine the Eagles running 12 personnel with Goedert and Stowers on the field at the same time. How do you guard that? You don't. Now, I know what you're thinking. The Eagles already have an expensive offense. Shouldn't they be saving money? That's exactly why this draft was so smart. By grabbing elite pass catchers on rookie deals, they can afford to keep the quarterback as the salary cap continues to explode. They've spent the last few years rebuilding the defense with Georgia Bulldogs. Now, it was time to give Jalen Hurts every possible tool to succeed. But the most fascinating move of the entire weekend came much later. In the 5th round, at pick 178, the Eagles went to the quarterback factory and came out with Cole Payton from North Dakota State. Now, don't you dare call him the next Tim Tebow. That is disrespectful. Cole Payton is a much more polished passer with a cannon for an arm. Yes, he's a lefty. Yes, he's a massive, physical runner who can bowl over linebackers. But he also completed over 72% of his passes last year. Think about that for a second. That's the same kind of efficiency Jalen Hurts showed in college. The Eagles clearly have a type. They want quarterbacks who are dual threat weapons, but who also possess the accuracy to keep the chains moving. Some experts had Payton ranked much higher, potentially as the 3rd best QB in the class. Getting him in the 5th round is pure value. He might not start tomorrow, but he doesn't have to. He can sit behind Hurts, learn the system, and potentially develop into a high-level backup or a massive trade chip down the road. Some scouts even think he could be used in a Taysom Hill role immediately. Can you imagine a goal line package with Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and Cole Payton all on the field? It would be a defensive nightmare. The foresight here is what makes a masterclass. With current backups likely looking for big paydays elsewhere in the near future, the Eagles are already grooming their next developmental project. They aren't waiting for a crisis to happen. They're preventing the crisis from ever starting. This entire 2026 class feels like a shift in philosophy. It's aggressive, it's offensive-minded, and it's built on pure, unadulterated athleticism. The Eagles didn't just draft football players. They drafted track stars who happen to be elite at football. The speed on this roster is reaching a breaking point for the rest of the NFC East. So, where does this leave the Birds? They've replaced aging stars with younger, cheaper, and arguably more athletic versions of themselves. They've successfully navigated trade rumors and outmaneuvered their rivals in the draft room. They've added a potential superstar receiver, a freak athlete tight end, and a high-upside quarterback project. But the real question is, can these rookies handle the pressure of Philadelphia? This isn't a city that accepts growing pains. They want wins, and they want them now. Makai Lemon has the swagger to handle it. Eli Stowers has the physical tools to dominate, and Cole Payton has the blueprint for success already laid out for him. If Howie Roseman is right about these three, the Philadelphia Eagles aren't just contenders for 2026. They are setting themselves up to be a dynasty. The rest of the league had a chance to stop this, but they let the talent fall, and Howie did what he does best. He stole the show. But wait until you hear what the rival coaches are saying behind closed doors about Philly's draft strategy, because the envy is reaching an all-time high. The league is scared, and they should be. The Eagles are flying high, and the 2026 season can't get here fast enough. Is this the best draft Howie has ever had? Only time will tell, but right now, it looks like a total landslide victory for the Midnight Green.